Better believe it. Hi, I realized that I really don't introduce myself in my videos. So, hi, I'm Alex. I am a 23-year-old occupational therapist.
Today, I just wanted to talk about my journey of how I got from Manila to Agusan, because I realized that not a lot of people have been talking about the procedures, and just to save a lot of people some hassle, because I had to go through a lot of things and I had to go back and forth as well to be able to do this, and I just wished that someone would have told me about it so that I could be more efficient and more informed about everything. So this is for you guys.
I worked in Manila for 1.5 years, and I'm still considered a locally stranded individual because I live here. All my IDs state that I live here. And eventually I wanted to go home na, and my family wanted me to be here as well, so that to ease everyone's minds. So this video will be divided into two parts. First part is the preparation of my travel, and then the second part is the actual day of my travel. So first, hello, it's Alex from the future. So while I was editing the video, I noticed that it was so long. So if you're here for the procedures and the requirements, just watch part 1. And if you're here for my story, my experience, for a little cuento, just skip on to part 2. See you there! Okay, so for part 1, preparation. You need these things. So all of that I did in one day. How did I find out about the requirements to be able to travel as a locally stranded individual? Well, I looked at the airline websites, and then when I visited Philippine Airlines, it was listed there naman.
So prior to all this, prior to all the preparation, I read the COVID Shield website
that you have to be quarantined for at least 2 weeks before your request so that you will be able to travel. So that's what I did as well. So 2 weeks of quarantine, and then only 5 days before my flight, I did all of this. So the reason why I did all of this 5 days before my flight lang is that the rapid test that I had, which is negative by the way,
no COVID.
the rapid test is only valid for 5 days. So I need this to be valid by the time that I get on the plane. So when I arrive also in BUTUAN, it has to be valid still. Okay? So I had my rapid test done. Then after that, when I got the results,
It only took like 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes of waiting, and then they already had my result.
after that, I went to the barangay. So the barangay has to certify that you are from there and that you are leaving. So my only hitch with this was that I did not have any ID that said that I lived in Manila. All my IDs point to here, that I live here in the province. So they rejected me. At first. And I had to contact the owner of the apartment that I was staying at to make a letter that I am a tenant there. So they accepted the letter that time, and then I was able to finally get my barangay clearance. By that point, I had my rapid test done and I got the barangay clearance. So when you look at the PNP website, that's all you need. A certificate and a barangay clearance. So when I went to the PNP, they checked all the documents, I filled out the form. Along with that, I submitted my photocopy of valid ID. And then that was it. It was out of my hands. They told me that it would take 3 days of processing. And binilang ko naman, papasok naman, aabot naman ako sa flight ko, which is 5 days later pa. So after 3 days, I would pick it up at a different police station, which was Section 4. And then, yun. It was out of my hands.
So chill na ako and everything.
And then when I got home, I checked the COVID Shield Joint Task Force website. And it clearly stated there that I did not notice before. Your local government health office dapat yung magsacertify sa'yo that you are negative for COVID. So, that was already 3 p.m. I think that I realized. So I ran to the nearest health office, which was like 5-minute car ride lang. And then I was very lucky to catch the doctor when she was still there and about to leave. So yeah, they were able to issue a health certification for me. After that, hinabol ko to siya. Hindi na ako dumaan sa PNP. Dumiretso na ako sa Section 4 where I was supposed to claim my travel authority. When I got there, they accepted my paper and they apologized that they were not coordinated with the PNP. But then, instead of making me wait 3 days, they were able to give it to me right away. So, that was one. So, technically, I really did finish everything. All my prep in 1 day. So, hawak-hawak ko na yung all the requirements by the end of that day. Part 2! Okay, so when I traveled, I knew that I would be needing a lot of copies of the documents. I actually made 3 copies of everything, even my ID. And then I put them all inside this.
See me? You can't see me.
I put them all inside this clear folder that was given to me lang. So I insert everything here lang and then I disinfect it every time that someone touches it. The certification and the rapid test results were on one side and then on the opposite side was the travel authority so that they could just flip it and then they don't have to take it out. But of course, they still had to take it out to check and that was my hatest part. That's why I had this because it's very easy to disinfect. Spray mo lang ng alcohol on both sides and wipe it down or wipe it down. Wipe it down. Wipe. Okay. Siguro let's start the story with the day before my travel. Let's start this story with the day before my travel, which was July 12. So by July 12, ready na, everything was, in order, everything was packed, and then I was ready to go the next day. I got a call from my dad saying, bad news, the local government unit of BUTUAN City canceled the flight of Philippine Airlines. Which reminds me,
If you are to travel to a different city, you have to visit their local government unit website or Facebook page. I actually visited the BUTUAN City Facebook page for any additional papers and requirements they might have. So for BUTUAN, it was this little ID, this little travel pass. So I already printed this as well. It's also in a container. I was supposed to laminate it, pero mas mura pala kung bibili nila ako ng ID card. So at least, hindi pa rin siya. Easy to disinfect pa rin.
so when I received the tragic news, the game plan was to go to the airport anyway and then go to the ticketing office there instead. I was there by 6:30 a.m. Pumila na ako sa ticketing office and then thank goodness there were only like 3 people there. So nakapila na ako and then by the time that they opened, diretso talaga ako na accommodate. I asked if there were any other flights to Mindanao so that I could just take a land trip. And then there was a flight at 10 a.m. So I only had 2 hours. I booked it right away. And the woman was so accommodating. I bet that she could see my stress and my tears pulling up my eyes already.
So yun pala, yung travel authority din, if you're going to BUTUAN City, which is where I was going initially, and then you will reroute your flight to Davao, it's okay lang naman.
It's okay. You don't need a separate travel authority for Davao and for BUTUAN. So as long as your final destination is what's written on your travel authority. Checked in my baggage, I could finally breathe. Like this. Got on the plane, landed in Davao, and I was very surprised. They were very organized.
More organized than Manila.
So first they separated us into 2 groups with very strict social distancing. So 2 groups going into the city and going out. So if my travel authority says that I'm going to BUTUAN, they will accept me but I'm not allowed to make any stops in Davao at all. So I was okay with that. The day before, we already contacted my aunt. My auntie, na very fortunate. She owns a van rental business. So we were able to rent out a van to bring me back home. It was a 5-hour trip.
Sanay na ako at this point because my dad's side of the family lives in Davao, so we've been doing land trips there.
So it was a 5-hour land trip, and throughout those 5 hours, there were 8 checkpoints. So out of those 8 checkpoints, siguro half of them lang yung bumaba kami. And then out of these 5, only 2 were strict. So the rest were just asking where are you going, how many people are in the car. By the way, the driver also has his requirements, the health certificate, the travel authority, and a test. So there were two that were very strict. One was in the boundary of Agusan and Surigao? Surigao ba yun? Basta yung boundary. That was strict. They really made us go out of the car, get our temperatures, check our papers, sign on the logbook. And then the same thing with entering BUTUAN City na. So, yeah, I was very fortunate to have a smooth sailing trip from there. Basta, it was such a long day. When I got home, it was evening na, like 7 p.m. And then I was exhausted at that point. I had to carry all my bags myself. And then I took a shower and then I went straight to bed. It was a long day, but then I was very grateful and relieved to be finally home. So that's it. That was my journey and that was my experience. So I hope that you have an idea now of how you can get home and everything that you need so that things will go smoother for you. I hope that you learned something, because if there's anything that I want, I would like my experiences to be shared so that you could also learn from my experiences and not make the same mistakes that I did. I just want everyone to be prepared, be aware, be vigilant, and no matter how uncomfortable your PPEs are, please keep them on and stay safe. So this has been Alex, and I'll see you next time.